Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
It's no secret that one of the red-hot topics for anti-Trump activists is Donald Trump's proposal for a temporary ban on Muslim immigrants to the United States. Even though polls suggest that the majority of Americans agree with Trump on this issue, there's still been a huge backlash and public outrage from the politically correct left, who feel that Trump is discriminating against the Muslim culture. The Obama White House even went as far as saying that Trump's comments should disqualify him from becoming president. So in other words, Trump has no interest in national security or protecting Americans. He just hates Muslims, according to the radical left translation book. And it's always the same with these guys. It's always a double standard with these guys. I don't recall any trigger warnings going off back when Democrat President Jimmy Carter was in office, when basically he said the same thing during the Iran hostage crisis. Jimmy Carter prohibited immigration. He restricted visas. There was no Iranians allowed to enter the country.
And a virtual shutting off of all Iranian immigration into this country by refusing new visas to Iranian citizens. Moreover, the president warned these 4 steps may be just the beginning.
All of the steps I have ordered today are those that are necessary now. Other action may become necessary if these steps do not produce the prompt release of the hostages.
Well, I tell you what, sounds a lot like Trump, doesn't it? And remember how butthurt everyone got just a few months ago when Donald Trump said that the Muslim ghetto in Brussels looks like a hellhole? The media said that it was an insult to the Belgian capital. But in reality, it was a prophetic sign of things to come.
Go to Brussels. There's something going on, and it's not good. There's something bad going on. You go to Brussels. I was in Brussels a long time ago, 20 years ago. So beautiful. Everything's so beautiful. It's like living in a hellhole right now.
And that was a warning from Donald Trump earlier this year in January, before the recent terrorist attacks in Brussels. And now that his prediction has come true, a lot of people that didn't necessarily agree with Trump in the past, well, they are now having to admit that he was right.
I thought Donald Trump sounded really reasonable today. My law enforcement background kicked
why do you say
in.
that? Like what?
Isn't that crazy? Because we need to be forceful. We can't have these muted responses to terror. Let me also say this about Donald Trump. You know, we trash him often here. Bottom line is, in January, and you've been saying that,
I've been
Raven.
saying that.
In January of this year, he said Brussels was a hellhole.
So he's right on a couple of things.
So his foreign policy isn't so outrageous.
Wow. There's something you don't see every day. Even the left-leaning women on the daytime TV show The View are starting to agree with Trump. Now, I want to get something straight right now. I don't necessarily agree with Trump on all of the issues. Of course not, especially his views on waterboarding, torture, and the surveillance state. I strongly disagree with Donald Trump on those issues. But I like what he's saying about Muslim immigrants and a temporary ban from letting them enter the country, just like President Jimmy Carter did during the Iran hostage crisis. Look, the Obama White House has allowed over 680,000 green cards to Muslims over the past 5 years. 680,000. While at the same time, intelligence agencies all across the board are warning us that ISIS will infiltrate the migrant population. Letting them in could very well be a Trojan horse.
It seems to be a breeding ground, but you know, you have other places over in Europe that it's the same thing, and we're going to have it over here too, because we're allowing thousands of people to come here, Sean, and we have no paperwork. We have no idea who they are, where they come from. They come in through the migration, the so-called migration, which could be the great Trojan horse of all time.
Well, it makes a lot of sense to me, but I tell you what, there's plenty of people out there who are angry with Donald Trump because of what he is saying right there. And we've all seen the organized protest at these Trump rallies, hashtag shut it down. So far, they've been able to cancel a Trump event in Chicago. They've blocked roads to Trump events in Arizona, and they plan to keep shutting it down. And they're going to do everything they can to prevent Trump from speaking during his presidential campaign. Like I said, they want to shut it down. This is a physical reaction by the left. They are terrified of Donald Trump because he seems strong enough and dynamic enough to take down the establishment. And that's why these anti-Trump protests are funded and organized by the likes of George Soros, MoveOn.org, and Black Lives Matter. And they are blaming Trump for inciting violence at his rallies. We've all heard them call him a racist, but I'll tell you what, the real modern day racist are groups like Black Lives Matter, the new Klan with a tan. They show up to these rallies, they're pissed off, they're intimidating Trump supporters, they're bullying people, they're shouting obscenities, flipping off the crowd, they're getting violent, firing guns in the air, they're shouting out racial slurs to anyone who attends a Trump rally. I mean, it's a mess, and you can see the hate in their eyes. And I tell you what, it's really a shame to see what Dr. Martin Luther King worked so hard for all of those years to peacefully end racism, only to have a large number of his own people turning into the very same bigots and racists that he opposed to begin with. And our crew and others, they've been right there in the trenches at these anti-Trump rallies. And here's a look at what it's like to be right in the middle of all this.
Oh, yeah. Hey, that sounds classic.
And if you're going to have the audacity to sit up here and say you believe in Donald Trump in 2016, you are flat out racist.
On. You eat this right here. Plain and simple, this right here. Nothing else. Black, your skin color.
The good old white days are over with. The good old white days are over with. Ain't no more of them days, bro. It's over.
That's not racist.
No,
I'm racist, though. I'm racist. That's not racist. I'm racist.
Hell no, that's not racist. That's telling the truth.
You've never experienced oppression in your entire life. Neither have I. You're a white male.
Now, to be fair, it's not just anti-Trump agitators who are out there acting like idiots. There's some Trump supporters out there who are very upset too, like this guy.
Go back to Africa! If you're an African first, go back to Africa!
You see, that ain't right. But for the most part, the violence and disruption has been pretty much one-sided. I mean, when you think about it, there's been zero attacks by Trump supporters at Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton rallies. Trump supporters don't show up and violate their First Amendment. That's just not something they do. In fact, when you compare the two groups, pro-Trump versus anti-Trump protesters, I think this cop from Tucson describes it best.
I wasn't expecting what I saw. I had no idea that I was going to leave that event with the thought process and experience that I obtained. People were verbally violent at the door, yelling, saying, F Donald Trump. I mean, being outrageous. You were just thinking that somebody was going to lose their temper and it was going to be a full brawl. Or like somebody was going to run up on me and just punch me in the head because they're trying to prove a point about Donald Trump. That's how crazy this stuff was. I didn't feel safe sometimes. I was a little nervous. I was watching my back like, I don't know what these fools gonna do in here, man. And they were crazy. I'm very shocked. I gained a lot of respect for Donald Trump. And I think that if you want to know the truth about stuff, you got to examine, you got to physically show up.
And whether you like it or not, most people are judged by the company they keep. Domestic terrorist Bill Ayers was right there in the middle of the Trump protest in Chicago. He was posting videos on Twitter, #ShutItDown. He said it was a beautiful gathering of anti-racist youth. I guess if you think beautiful is nasty and violent. And if you're too young to know who Bill Ayers is, or if you're uneducated in the history of domestic terrorist Bill Ayers, let me introduce you to the Weather Underground.
A bomb exploded early this morning in the Pentagon, and left-wing terrorists telephoned newspapers to say they were responsible.
At midday, the Associated Press got a phone call from a man saying he was with the Weather Underground and that bombs would explode at the Departments of Interior and Agriculture and the Smithsonian before the day was out.
People calling themselves members of the Weather Underground last night planted bombs in federal office buildings in Washington and Oakland, California.
Credit for the Capitol bombing was claimed in a letter received by the Associated Press today, signed by the Weather Underground.
The explosion destroyed one of the Pentagon's 140 women's restrooms and blasted out a wall on the 4th floor.
So if you're one of those folks who likes to go to anti-Trump rallies, just remember you are aligning yourself with this guy. But Donald Trump is supported by the KKK. So what?
What does the Ku Klux Klan see in Donald Trump where they say we'll put our endorsement behind you? What does David Duke see in Donald Trump that makes them want to endorse him?
May I answer that? Maybe they see they see jobs. Maybe they see a strong economy. Maybe they see a strong military. Long as Donald Trump didn't endorse them and their principles, that's not a big sin. You are using that to incite black people, Hispanic people, and non-white people to portray him as a racist.
Now, I tell you what, Americans all across the board, we've all had enough of the race baiting and the race cards, right? And I want to show you something. This is a reporter from Spanish television, and you got to see the reaction of these guys when this reporter accuses a white guy for being a racist because he wants to secure our borders.
Are you racist?
Am I what?
What do you think of these people now? Why? Why you stay here?
Are you racist? Am I racist?
Yeah.
No, I'm not a racist. Why do you ask that?
Well,
why is it that people who stand up for America and who want to protect our own borders, why are we always trying to be backed up with the racist thing? I'm standing here with a black man. If I was a racist, this is my brother right here. If I'm standing with him, how can I be a racist?
Are you a racist?
No.
So why would you ask him if he's a racist?
Well, let me see.
Why would you ask that question?
Why you stand here?
And you asking him because he's white and you want to get away with this racist remark. Are you a racist?
No.
So why is it that he a racist because he's standing up for the country?
Do you like the Latin people? Do you like them?
Do you like them? No. Do you like them?
Yeah, I
like America?
People.
Do you like America?
Yeah.
Then what's the problem? You should be out here picking it with us. That's a dumb question to ask. You're asking that question so you can use it on your program to make him look like a racist. Why don't you ask me am I racist? Because I'm black, right? I love America too, and I think these illegal aliens need to be shipped back to their country. So why is that racist? You're a racist for asking him that question.
Thank you, Jesse.
And you're only doing it because he's white, and that's what you're going to show on your report tonight. You shouldn't play that kind of game. That's a dumb question.
Shame on you.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Yes.
You're in America taking advantage of all the benefits that America has to offer, and your only comment, are you a racist? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
That's how you fight back right there. Unite. Remember, the establishment, they do not want us united. They want us divided. And that's why they are going after Donald Trump, because he is a direct threat to the establishment, Democrats and Republicans. Now, we're about to wrap this segment up, but I want to show you a clip right now. This is a clip from the hit TV series on Showtime. It's called The Circus. And here we have an inside look at what actually happens during some of these meetings by the power elite. This is a dinner conversation between power brokers and lobbyists who are openly conspiring to end Donald Trump's presidential campaign. This is powerful stuff.
I'm sorry, this is not the Soviet Union. We can't call a meeting and decide Trump is out.
And we hate that.
Yeah.
Republicans are hierarchical, respectful of authority. We fall in line, and Trump has interrupted that cycle. All he has going for him is a lot of votes.
Now that, my friends, is a table full of GOP fundraisers. You also sitting there, you've got members of PNAC, you've got members of the CFR, basically the same guys who covertly support Hillary Clinton. And these guys are a bunch of arrogant elitists who are there to shut Trump down, and they are no different than George Soros. And that's because Trump is, well, obviously he's being attacked from both sides. And this is truly historic. We're talking about one man standing up against the establishment of both political parties and the political correctness in the national media.
And now they're faced with a very real prospect of Donald Trump becoming the leader of the party, and it absolutely drives them crazy. They just cannot imagine sharing. Well, because he's an outsider. He's not them. He's not part of the club. He's uncontrollable. He hasn't been through the initiation rites. He didn't belong to the secret society.
Please take a moment to listen to what I'm about to break down very, very carefully, because the information I'm about to lay out in just 2 minutes changed my life and changed the life of many, many people around me. I was a big sports enthusiast, but loved to eat like a pig when I was 10 years old up to about 22 or so. And I ran 6 miles every other day and lifted weights almost every day and had a great physique. Then I got into radio and television 21 years ago and got so busy in my work, I stopped working out. And everything was okay for 4 or 5 years, but then suddenly I started putting on pounds every month. And in the next 10 years, I gained almost 100 pounds. Then about 7 years ago, I began jogging, swimming long distances, and lifting weights again, trying to lose weight, and was only able to lose about 20 of the 98 pounds. I even changed my diet. I even increased the exercise. It didn't work. But as soon as I began to get the nutrients and compounds that I needed, my whole life changed. I've gone from 200 and almost 80 pounds down to about 220 pounds or so. It is incredible. And in just the last 3 years, Super Male Vitality, developed by Dr. Group for InfoWarsLife.com exclusively, and products like the Survival Shield X2 Nascent Iodine have just done incredible things for my body. I work out less. Even though I'm older, I've lost more weight. My muscles got stronger, my stamina, my libido, and so much more. The truth is, we went out to bring you the very best we could, true game-changing products. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today and secure your Super Male or Female Vitality and X2 True Nascent Iodine today, and hopefully start your journey towards living a more natural, focused, clean life. There's a lot of other excellent nutraceuticals we've developed, and also third-party ones that we sell at InfoWarsLife.com that are excellent. But the 2 game changers that I believe if you order them are most likely to really give you the biggest bang for your buck are Super Male Vitality and Female Vitality, and of course, X2 Nascent Iodine. Take the challenge, visit InfoWarsLife.com today, and secure your nutraceuticals. At the same time, know that you're funding the fight for freedom worldwide. Thank you for your support.